Full-Time Devils, we're doing a podcast. I've not got a clue what podcast number we're on. Do you two?
Is it 42?
I don't know.
Oh, wait. 42.
I think it might...
The meaning of the universe. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
See, I never watched the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Type that into YouTube, the meaning
It might
of
be
the
43, actually. I'm not sure.
Right, who knows? But we're here on a podcast. We're off the back of Manchester United getting a win against Wolves, even though it was the most boring 180 minutes of football ever.
Give the intro to the bloke from the BBC.
Why? What do you want me to do? Introduce everyone?
Introduce any names.
Oh, come on,
What's
man.
going on?
You've got Motty there, who we all know. You've got Adam McKola here, who everyone knows. You've got me, Gaz Drinkwater, who some people all know.
We empty-chaired Ange.
We've got an ice sculpture.
En route.
We've got an ice sculpture instead of Ange because
she's coming. She's arriving shortly.
Refused to come and answer the big questions. Well, where should we start today, boys? Maguire as Man United captain, maybe. FA Cup. What do we want to talk about first?
Well, I haven't got your. I've done Ashley Young to death, which sounds very wrong.
No.
But I have. Stephen Alson's already spoken about that. We know what our opinions are. I haven't got your two opinions. Ashley Young, 9 years at Manchester United, 261 appearances.
I think that's
19 goals, 5 trophies. One of them being a Charity Shield, but Premier League, League Cup, FA Cup, Europa League. Your lasting memories of Ashley.
Well, me and Steve were talking about this the other day, and I defended Ashley Young, and I feel like I've defended Ashley Young for years. I'm actually glad he's going for several
You're defending
reasons.
him so much, you're bold like him.
I am. I had full head of hair before I started defending him. But I'm glad he's going because A, I don't think he's good enough. B, I think some of the stick he gets is out of order, and I don't like to see it, if I'm being honest. I know that sounds a bit sort of soppy, but he gets a lot of abuse, and I don't think it's all warranted. And I think it'll sort of clears the way for Brandon Williams to become our first choice left back, which is what should happen, I think.
I'm worried a little bit about Brandon Williams.
Worried?
He's been mint. He looks quality. One thing I will say about him as well is how intelligent he seems. Like, there's been plenty of times where you've thought he's going to follow the ball there and just carry on going forward, and he's tracked his actual winger and not made the run. And he's quite intelligent as a fullback, and I like him. But are we putting a bit too much hype on him at this point? Have we seen enough of him to say you can be our left back for the next 5-10 years? I think United, I've said this a million times, but if we're anything like City or a top club, we'd go out and buy a proper left back now, 28, 29 years old. And Brandon Williams would learn from him. As soon as he goes, Brandon's in.
I think what you're saying is true. Like we've seen with players, Matteo Darmian had a good start at Manchester United. Cameron Borthwick-Jackson had a good start at Manchester United. We've seen younger players come into the team, do well, and disappear very quickly.
Tyler Blackett.
There's a video of me out there saying Tyler Blackett and Paddy McNair will form part of a title-winning defence one day. How right I was. But
nailed it. Absolutely nailed it as usual. Well done.
Good shout, that.
Up there with Phil Jones being
Johnny
United
Evans.
England captain. Johnny Evans should have been United captain.
Don't mention
Johnny Evans was amazing.
Don't say
sidetrack
Johnny
this
Evans
now.
to him. For the love of God.
Where was I before you said Johnny Evans?
You were saying how Brandon Williams...
Yeah, like when you look at him, the reason everyone wanted him to play is because even though I'd say defensively, he's probably not the finished article. He's definitely not the finished article.
He's very good defensively.
He's very good defensively, but he's not the finished article. There's still problems in his game which he needs to iron out, which you'll see as someone develops. And for that reason, he's not complete. But I'd rather see Brandon playing than Ashley Young or Luke Shaw or any of these guys because he offers more going forward, but he also looks like he's got a higher ceiling. And now that's not to say that we should force him and play him every game. You have to manage them well, but I think he's got a higher ceiling than them.
Luke Shaw at Brandon's age, though. Come on, what a player we're talking about.
That's a good point, and I think what that shows you is in a football career or in life, you need a little bit of luck. With injuries as well, you need a little bit of luck, and things can change very quickly, as we saw with Luke Shaw. Because when he came to United, him and Memphis down that left side,
just
good.
We were walking in Memphis.
Just on that, though, Maka, because we sort of didn't really ask you. What about you, Young? Where do you stand on him? Because you've obviously seen a full Young career.
As a person, even as a player, I like him. I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United. I think he should have left 2-3 seasons ago. Yeah. But he's always given his all. He's always fought for the shirt. I believe he's always led by example, especially in the dressing room, off the pitch and everything. And I think he's been a good representative of Manchester United. I don't think he's ever let us down. as a person, or whether it's filling in at left back or right back, or I think he's played in every position apart from centre half and in goal for us, and that kind of says it all. And I just think you have players like John O'Shea, you have players like Darren Fletcher, and I think Ashley Young is well amongst them.
Ashley
maybe
Young.
not as Fletcher was probably better than him, but remember how good Ashley Young was when he arrived.
Yeah, I mean,
Martin O'Neill compared him to Messi and Ronaldo.
mate.
Oh yeah, let's take the word of Martin O'Neill, shall we?
Martin O'Neill was
he's very
But
good.
no, I think you're right, and I think he's a bit unlucky, Ashley Young, that he's been at the club over such a turbulent time, and he's managed to stick around and play all those games and become captain, and yet in many ways he's been sort of a victim of that in the way that people look at him as an example of how far we done fell. It's like, oh look, we've got Young as captain. Look, Young's played 200 games. Yeah. But
how long we done fell? Where are you from?
No, it's the wire, innit? That's how far we done fell. Glad you picked up on that. So yeah, it's like, I don't think he's as bad as people make out, and I think people are angry. It's like, oh look, this is how shit we are now. We've gone from having Roy Keane to Ashley Young.
It's a sign of our awful transfer policy as well.
Exactly.
Like, we've signed so many players in his position, and still an old former winger was playing at left back.
Do you remember Van Gaal's first season? How good he was, Ashley Young. Him and Smalling just pulled
Jay
out
reminded
the
me
bag
of the
that year.
season when we missed out to Aguero's last-minute goal. How much he influenced that season.
Have you noticed?
Towards the end of that season, I think he scored a brace at White Hart Lane when Spurs obviously played there, if memory serves.
Was that 4-0?
I can't remember. I thought it was 2-0, but my memory's shit. You're better than me than this, so I'll take your word for it. He scored at Blackburn. Important goals that, had we won the title, you would have gone, mate, great signing. Mate, helps us win the title. Boom. But then the following season, when we did win the title, he wasn't a bit plat. He still played.
Nanny Cleverly Anderson Young was the midfield.
That's what I mean.
Remember that midfield?
But he wasn't.
What
What a time to be.
That is mad.
It looked. It played
I
well
think-
for
I
a
think-
bit.
I think-
we banged. We banged.
That was when
Arsenal
Cleverly
8-2,
was
that.
Scholes.
You've got to
mate.
look
It
at
was
it
like
and just
next
think that
goal.
Sir Alex Ferguson was just on different levels, wasn't it?
Oh
Like,
mate, it's
how do you
silly.
get that team
Did
and
Ashley
win
Young
the
play in
title?
that Community Shield when we beat City?
The
3-2.
Nanny one.
Yeah.
I think he did.
Was that Nanny Cleverly Anderson
don't know
Young?
if
Was that the
Ashley-
first time we
I
played
think
that?
It might be. Yeah.
The best thing since Beckham, Scholes, Keane, and Giggs.
I was
that.
convinced, right? I was with you. I was convinced, like Tom Cleverly, that was the new fucking Iniesta.
Oh,
I
that
don't
game
care.
as
I was
well.
like, him and Welbeck, one touch his mate.
Welbeck,
Oh my god, Cleverly and
Look at the
Welbeck.
triangles.
We're gonna win
Fucking
it.
on.
We're gonna win a lot with them too. Yeah, didn't quite work out that way, obviously.
I think it's a shame for Ashley Young, in a way. He should have gone like 2-3 years
thing
ago.
is, though,
and now he's got a bad impression. And also, I don't know, do you reckon he struggled since Fellaini's left? Like, that's how he got a lot of his assists, wasn't it? Or a lot of his good crosses was just Fellaini getting his big fucking bonds on the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, the stats often don't do him any favours, but I think as well.
What did
in a
Steve
few-
call him?
What?
Shit or something.
Shit cunt. Excuse my language. He tagged him in it as well. That was one of the tweets I pulled up the other
See,
day.
right,
I'll
can we
even
say
tag him in
that?
it.
Look, like we have Steve on the podcast, and I'll say it to him here, but that's fucking out of order. Can I
That
say,
is
if any
too
United
far.
fans, right, we all have a go at United players. We all say he's had a shit game, whatever. To tag him in it though, that's a proper fucking shit
I
house
even
move.
tweeted him.
That's a
yeah,
shit house
it's like
move.
because I normally get tagged in tweets and it's like, why don't you ever say Jesse Lingard should fuck off and die or whatever, and they'll at Jesse Lingard. It's like,
Mate,
why have you?
Because I'm not a knobhead,
it's
mate.
Like, I wouldn't expect that.
The
of
worst
Yeah.
one, right, was
Well, I would.
No, yeah,
'cause
he
he's a
wouldn't.
belly.
was when Luke Shaw broke his leg. I remember some girl I follow on Twitter. She had the video of him breaking his leg, atted him, saying, "Hope we get well soon." I was like, "Why the fuck have you just atted him with a video of him potentially ending his football career?"
People just have like
It's madness.
zero fucking social skills. I
Yeah.
can't say a lot for that, but
It's not even social skills. It's just fucking.
At least
common
when
sense.
I tweet about Gaz being a knobhead, I don't at him, mate.
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Call me
I
a knobhead all you
I
want.
consider his mental
Don't you
health.
find it weird, like when people find tweets that they've not been atted in, like Stan Collymore?
Yeah,
Search-
because
search
Like
my
my
name.
mate,
I
my
used to
mate calls
search
him
my
Stanley
own name
Victor,
back
and he
in
got
the
blocked
day.
by him by
I
calling
used
him
to
Stanley
search
Victor.
my only name, like when I started doing this thing, and then I just realised it's a bad place to be because it's not good. Don't ever, if you've ever done it or you think about doing it, don't do it.
It'll just be depressing for me.
It
So
is-
there'll be nothing.
No, but there will be.
Oh,
a celebrity.
it's on my
like,
own
I mean,
tweet.
No,
People will be
there
like-
will be someone
Yeah.
out there like that.
It'll probably be like my mum saying,
And
do
it's
you, want,
like-
do you want picking up in the morning?
The bad comments hurt. Like you could have a million nice ones and then that one bad one.
Do you know what?
It's
though?
like,
It's-
Jesus.
my missus does that. She's like, she'll fight, not about her, about me. If someone, have you seen that? I'm not asked.
So just to rattle her cage, get a comment in below saying Jay's a knobhead.
Jay's a dickhead.
Like, genuinely.
Someone slagged off me and Andy once about our weight, and she was going mad. Like, how can you? And I was like, just forget it, ignore it. It's fine. I don't
It's
mind.
like when my mum used to see like YouTube. Yeah, she used to.
Yeah, I'm like,
I had to tell my mum like, don't look at it, don't look at the comments because it's just not on.
So imagine being a footballer then that plays for Manchester United.
Exactly.
The thing is, though, right? We all know this, and I'm sure Steve's even admitted it. In a few years' time, Steve will have him on the fucking warm down telling him how mint he is, right? Let's have it right.
Steve likes it because Steve. I remember Steve.
And Alison knows that as well.
Steve never did something. Steve's young boy did something with United and Chevrolet once.
Yeah.
And I think it was like Van Persie was there and Ashley Young was there. And Ashley Young looked after Jay.
Where's the loyalty then?
Like, and it's like Steve loves him for that. But then and
do you know what the bad thing is as well? And I know for a fact that Young knows about these things.
Yeah, and that's why I think
does
that play a part in him saying, not Steve, by the way.
Yeah.
Like just the general feeling towards him. Does that play a part in him saying, "Fuck this mid-season, I'm off"? Like, would that make him think, "Why should I stay for another 6 months?" Or does he owe it to? Because ultimately, as football fans, we all have opinions, but we don't know what's right from wrong. Really, whether we all have opinions.
Oh yeah. So
really, should he care about? Like, should he ultimately care about?
Yeah, he should. He's a human. We don't own these footballers. We don't own these footballers. We don't have a right to fucking personally abuse them online. And I think it goes beyond footballers. Anyone, like, really. I'm going to be honest, like, when I see shit to me, if it's an anonymous profile, I don't give a shit because I think you're a fucking coward if you've got an anonymous profile. If it's an actual person, though, it does affect me, and I'm like, no, I'm not saying it.
No,
like
I
that.
just got a notification.
Calling you a cunt.
No, Stephen Allison commenting on the Ashley Young video. He's still going, defending himself.
But like, if it's and Ashley Young sees it, so we'll see it every week. You see it at the ground sometimes. Even I admit I've got frustrated before, and Ashley Young's had a shit game, and when he's wearing the captain's armband, I've thought, you know what? That gives me the right to stand up and say, fuck off, Young, and it doesn't give me that right. It doesn't.
I don't mind that as much, funnily enough. I know it's probably worse, but I don't mind. I don't mind like emotions at a game.
Your missus and this, and I hope your kids. And as long as it's not that, and it's way above, and it's within reason, isn't that every football fan's right?
Where do you draw the line on Malcolm? Because people, we say, and it does me head in because there's so much hypocrisy. We say about mental health. Oh, we care about mental health, and people, you've got to work about mental health and all that. Yet we'll happily tell footballers to go and kill themselves and fuck off and die.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not.
And if they react, we expect like
over the top, though.
We expect like them to be almost inhuman.
As football fans, when I grew up playing football and going to Old Trafford with my dad, I knew if you're a footballer, you're gonna get stick from the sidelines. Whether it's you're gonna get stuff from the sidelines. And I think growing up as a footballer, you expect that. You don't expect someone to say, "I hope you die." I hope this. You don't expect any of that. But surely you kind of have to accept there's going to be a level of criticism aimed at you, and not take it too personally if it is just about your performance.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the line.
And that's what
you ask.
How
where the
I try
line
and
is.
be when I speak after games.
Where does the line, like, because there's other things that come into play now. Because I think that is where the line is. You go beyond the performance. That's where you've crossed the line. But then you've got someone like Luke Shaw, who I'll take the piss off slightly for being a little bit overweight. Like, is that crossing the line? Or is it because his weight is affecting his performance, though, isn't it?
And
so
I've done that in the ground, and I've done it on a video. And it's, you sort of think, well, hang on a minute, is that not crossing a line? Where do you, it can get a bit like...
But then as a sportsman, shouldn't you be in shape? So if you're not in shape and that's pointed out...
It's part of your game, isn't it? It is criticising the performance.
So if Andy Ruiz, for example, comes in overweight, well, you can't be overweight for a heavyweight bout.
No, I get where you're coming from.
And he was massively bigger than his last fight. Everyone says, you've been enjoying yourself too much and you're a bit overweight. That's not, you fat bastard, go kill yourself.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think you've got to expect a fair level of criticism, especially if you're not looking after yourself, you're not applying yourself the way you should. And let's not forget as well, some of the worst criticism I've ever seen was to Rooney. Like, and he was our top goal scorer of all time and someone that won the lot. Yet some of the pelters he used to get on social media and in the ground were fucking ridiculous.
You know what I used to love? Sorry, guys.
Liverpool
games, completely irrelevant to this conversation. When we'd be like, you scouse bastards, you scouse. Really, then a minute later, Rooney!
yeah.
And then just sit there like, just chuckling to myself like, This is hilarious.
Every single
Only
time,
football
right?
fans can get
It
away
was
with
funny.
that.
Every time we did it, I always remember there was like someone who doesn't go that many games sat around us and just like, like, you are. And like, we know we're hypocrites. It's just what we do.
But that's like, it was purposely, Rooney was purposely chanting after it. 'Cause,
Yeah, I
like,
know.
To prove our hypocrisy.
Exactly,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I don't even remember what I was going to fucking say. No, in fact, it was like, I think I mentioned it on the podcast before. Favourite fucking Fergie quote when he's talking about man management and he's talking about he'd put an arm around Nanny, but he'd bollock Rooney. Because sometimes that'll get the best out of certain people. Certain people are different. If I did something wrong at work and my boss came up to me and fucking gave me pelters, that isn't the way to get something out of me. It might be the best way to get something out of you, though. I think it would be, in fact. I think if you made a mistake,
I'd call you a
fucking
cunt,
you call me a cunt, and then you'd be fucking better at your job after it. I'd fucking crawl into the corner and start crying. So it's like, you know what I mean? People need different things.
Yeah.
It's true.
And that was Fergie's genius as well, because look at the players that he got the best out of, and look at where he went after United and what happened with him.
Well, Rooney, kind of just to touch on that point, Rooney's spoken about that time. I think it was at Anfield when Sir Alex has gone into the dressing room and he's looked around, and Nani was constantly giving the ball away and dribbling with it and running with it. And he knew if I say anything to Nani, he's going to go into his shell. He's not going to perform. He's not going to get any better. So everything he wanted to say to Nani, he screamed at Rooney. Like, stop dribbling with the ball. Make sure you're passing it. And like, Rooney was thinking, but he was aiming it at Nani, but through Rooney, and it was like,
that is like they say though, and it is like almost like a psychologist.
just
you know
knowing
what I mean?
who can take it and who can't.
Do you know what I mean?
I think half of football management probably is that.
And for Fergie as well, he came through that era with Whitesides, McGraths, Robbos, Chockies, where you go in and start basically throwing
And he
cups
was
of
able
tea
to
at
change
him.
it because if
Yeah.
you see
Exactly.
Robbo when he became a manager,
Yeah. That's what I
he
mean.
was out of his depth.
Yeah.
Did he do well for a bit?
He did
At
well at
Middlesbrough,
Middlesbrough.
was it?
He got
Yeah.
him promoted, and then he finished, I think, 7th. And then it all
I think
went
we're
wrong.
seeing it
and
a
he never
bit
recovered.
with Jose now. The way that he's sort of fallen off in recent years, he's not been able to adapt to the way people have changed.
He's very old.
Yeah,
Not
that's a
necessarily the
really
way
good point.
football
That.
has
I
changed,
think
the
you're
way
right.
people have
Man
changed.
management, yeah.
Because it's different now as well. The players have more power than they've ever had. So you can't get away with some of the shit you'd be able to get away with as well. Because if you could go back in the day, even 5 or 6
I
years
don't
ago.
feel players do have the power that they never use. I think they get paid more, so they're worth more, so they're treated differently because of that. But I feel, I find that player power stuff. Player power is usually used.
Do you not think though? Like
No, player powers. There are examples of it where a player's got too big for his boots and thrown his toys out of his pram. Whatever, that's fine. I understand. Ashley Young, if you believe what has been written about him walking off the dressing room, going to the gym, not training, that is believed to be a part of it that got him this move. That could be an example of player power. But I feel player power is used too much. Like, for example, when Jose Mourinho didn't have United performing and getting results, it was, the players have thrown their toys out of the pram. They've downed tools, player power. I think that's absolute rubbish. I think a good manager knows how to manage his men, knows how to manage his squad, his team, and as a result, you won't have any of those instances happening. So I ultimately feel it's down to bad management if you lose individuals within your team or you lose your team as a collective. That's not player power. That's not players thinking, I hate this guy, I don't want to play for him anymore. They might think that, but they still want to win football matches. They just can't do it. And I feel Mourinho's management, his judgment, his decision-making ultimately led to him losing the attention of players or the respect of players or whatever it was. I don't think that's players saying, I don't want to play for Man United and Mourinho anymore. This is rubbish. You know what I mean?
I get where you're coming from. I would never. I'm one of those. No matter what I've criticised Paul Pogba and other players for, I don't think this element of they've down tools, they won't play. I think it's bollocks. I think they do always give their all, and I've always said that. I just think sometimes now, especially in the modern era, you hear about it. Not necessarily just at United, but like look at Leicester for example. You had players like Kasper Schmeichel and players like that who. In the owners here, you've had it at Chelsea. Michael Ballack going a few years back. Players like going to Czech. I want to move. Mourinho says no. He goes to Abramovich. He gets a move. And also this element of like with Pogba, he's given his all. I'm not even criticising him for it, but there will be an element of. Hello.
And
yes,
Angelina's
Angelina
there. She's there.
Kelly's
Welcome to the
rocked up.
podcast.
We were meant to start right at 12:30, But Angelina went
it's
the wrong
now
way.
it's now 18 minutes past.
I didn't go
One.
the wrong way.
Right, go on.
Number one, I've got asthma and I've just ran. So do you know what I mean? Leave me alone.
That's it. Get your excuses in. Asthma.
It's
Right.
my
Good
fault the
enough. I used to
motorway
have
was
that in school.
closed.
Fucking Paul Scholes had asthma.
Yeah.
He didn't stop running.
Well, I ran a bit. Leave me alone.
That is a proper granddad thing to say on Twitter, isn't it?
You should
Paul
be coughing
Pogba
your guts
injured.
up. You should be coughing your guts up now.
Paul Scholes had asthma for his whole career.
That's the sort of thing you hear now, isn't it? It's like the Brian
So did
Robson thing.
Santiago Munoz, and he made a great career for himself.
What was you just saying?
We were just talking
Before
about.
Angelina
We were
Rubin
just
stuff.
talking
Yeah,
about
before I ruined your entire
the importance
thing,
of punctuality.
Yeah.
No, I was saying like even if a player doesn't necessarily spit his toys out,
Chuck his dummy
yeah,
out.
spit his dummy out or throw his toys out of the pram.
Chuck his dummy out.
Now, some players are worth more to the club, or so worth more to the club. The owners might react if a player's not happy. That's not necessarily the player spitting his dummy out or being
But
a
you
twat.
see, when this saying happens, yeah, it's easier to sack the manager than buy whole new players. You're only sacking the manager because he's been shit.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
If he's
yeah.
getting results,
Yeah.
you're
Well,
not sacking him.
unless though, even in some cases though, even a manager who's been successful who's lost a dressing room, like at Real Madrid, like was it Capello who won the Liga? But
He was mentally,
but
mate.
he'd pissed everyone off, and basically he wanted to play Michael Owen, played him. Michael Owen kept scoring goals, and then he more or less dropped him because everyone was going mad because Raul wasn't.
Who
getting
was
the
it that
team.
dropped Beckham?
No, he brought.
And they
he
got
brought
forced to
Beckham
bring
in.
Beckham back.
That's what I mean.
Beckham
Do you
grafted.
remember when Carlos Queiroz got there and he'd sold Makalele the day before he got there?
Angelina, we've been talking about Ashley Young before you
Right.
arrived late. What have you made of all this?
This guy.
We've just
This
about
guy.
got enough time to get your opinion in before we end.
Now, Ashley Young,
He'll
obviously.
be late for his own fucking funeral.
Hopefully.
You are pulling out the granddad saying tonight. What's going on over there with you guys?
He's going to drop the P-bomb on me in a minute as well.
I'm in a time war.
No.
Yeah, so Ashley Young is leaving Manchester United.
Yeah.
How have you felt about the manner of his departure? Or have you had no type of feeling towards it?
He's not someone that I think about that much, to be honest. But no, I think. Listen, it's one of those. Everyone seems to hate on him, and I think it's a little bit harsh sometimes because he's been at the club for so long, and he's had maybe the odd one or two moments where he's been all right. He's not completely messed everything up. But no, I mean, if he wants to go, I'm not really too fussed about it, to be honest. Let him go, let him crack on. Inter Milan seem to want every United reject at the minute.
Can we just say, like, from an Ashley Young perspective,
It's a great deal.
Yeah, it is really.
Apart from the racism, everything else is great.
Oh yeah, that's a good point actually. See that was an ignorant white man statement.
Lukaku just wanted someone to take some of the monkey chance with him. Like he was like, I can't take this on my own anymore. If I'm gonna be out here in Italy, I need some support.
You know what?
So
You've just changed my opinion drastically with one statement.
Listen,
why would any fucking why
win
would
the
you
Serie
want
A.
to go and play?
Nah,
in Serie A,
bro,
though?
there's racism in England. Let's not
Oh,
be
I
stupid.
know, but you wouldn't want monkey
Like-
chance during the fucking game. There's a different. Like, do you not think that's a different sort? I know we're to be fair.
Rudiger's
I
heard
think
of me.
yeah, I suppose.
Oh, mate.
Moving on from that though, go in there. You look at Inter Milan are getting Eriksen, Giroud, Young.
Are they getting Eriksen?
Apparently so. We're gonna have people saying in a few weeks when Ashley Young has a good performance.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have let
It's
him
like
go.
when Chris Smalling got that, what was it, like, not man of the match, was it like player of the month or something
FIFA
like that?
Ultimate Team new card or something.
Yeah, and everyone was like, oh my God, we shouldn't have let him go and all that. It's like, what?
Yeah.
It's like when Johnny Evans has a good game for Leicester.
Yeah.
Do you know
Why did we ever let him go?
Do you know what? I've never played FIFA Ultimate Team. I'm 24 years old and I've never played FIFA Ultimate Team.
I'm 30 and that's the only thing I still
I
play.
bought
Pro Clubs
FIFA.
is great as
I
well.
bought FIFA every year and I always play career mode.
But my team's sloppy, man. My boys don't. Lads,
Bit of a red
I know
flag.
we're like over 30 now, but come on.
Oh really?
Play the PlayStation.
Oh,
once
do
in
you
a
play
while.
PlayStation? Oh, I play Xbox.
Fuck
Okay.
us. Ginger's always different.
I'm gonna
innit?
join your team. I'm good at FIFA. mate. I'd smash you at a game of FIFA.
Because you got them weird fingers.
Daniel James getting grief.
What the fuck?
Daniel James.
You not seen that? Recent
for what?
developments? Just like people giving him a load of stick on Twitter saying he's not up to the job and all this.
I don't think he'll ever be permanent first choice for Man
You
United.
reckon?
Not if we're going to be a good team.
Everyone got a little bit overexcited after his first few games, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It doesn't help when you've got the Ryan Giggs chant, but I'm surprised he's suddenly started getting grief because I don't think he's the.
I don't think he's
problem
really
at the minute.
done much to warrant it.
I know.
There's always
it's
going
a
to be
bit-
an
Because
inconsistent.
he's still,
when he was young.
even though his finishing was poor against whoever we played last.
Wolves.
It was getting into those areas. It always offers you the basic levels of commitment. And all that
I thought that was one part of his game that a lot of people sort of underrated early on, though. Like, I know he scored a few goals, but just how accurate his shooting was.
I called him shit a lot during the game. Last game, I've got to admit. I called him shit a fair few times because I get frustrated when the final ball, man. But then he's young and it's like...
I think he might have run out of steam a little bit. He's played a lot of football. He's never played Premier League football before, and he's more or less been a mainstay. And I think not just physically, I think mentally, it can take it out of you. Whereas now the expectations there as well, because when he came, no one expected anything from him. He scored 2 goals in his first 3 games, and everyone thought he's new Ryan Giggs and all this nonsense. So I wonder if that's just like it's catching up with him. I know it's only January. But
tactically, defenders are probably sitting back a little bit rather than going in, and it's giving different kind of... Liverpool up next. How you feeling? Andrew was late.
Feeling like that.
Yeah, basically unwell. like the way that I felt when I was sat on the M62. It triggered your asthma? Yeah, it triggered my asthma. It was as stressful as sitting on the M62 a few minutes ago. Yeah, it's not what I'm trying to think of something positive to say. I guess
can we get a result like we did at the Etihad?
Yes.
What as in like
win?
What
as in like win?
Wow.
Are you sure?
What is a win?
I guess stranger things have happened. So if you want to be positive, why not? But no, I think we'd be I think if we could get perform like we did last time when we got the draw, that would be borderline miracle. I
don't think Liverpool have been playing that well this season. I say that they're probably going to spank us 6-0 now.
The last time when Liverpool came to Old Trafford and drew, they didn't want to win. Didn't seem like they wanted to win.
They want to. If they go 2-0 up at home, they're going to want to be 3, 4.
Now,
5,
this is what I think
6.
they're going to want. I think they're going to want to smash us in this one because of the gap. I think Klopp isn't going to be pragmatic, which he can be in these big games. I think he's going to be like, no, you know what? Let's have a little bit of icing on the top of our cake of the season, and let's have a fucking 6-0 win against United. I think they're going to go and try and smash us, and I don't think it'll work. It won't work. They're going to go for it.
It's just deflating it.
And it's going to work into our hands.
I'm just worried about the cartons of Ribena and the bog roll they're going to throw at the team bus.
Oh, mate, terrifying, isn't it, that?
And the piss.
Bloody hell.
I've never had the inclination to go and stand and throw toilet roll at the opposition team's
I've never
had for a loo roll in the TRA the other day. I loved it.
I've never had the inclination to get to the football stadium more than 10 minutes before kick-off. Fuck that. Why would I want to do that? I'll go to the pub.
Team news for
go to the pub round the corner or something like that. You know what I mean? Unless it's fucking full-time Devils responsibilities. You know what I mean? I get there fucking 5 minutes before kick-off. Why do you want to get there earlier?
Because hashtag this means more, Gaz.
I don't get it.
That's a load of shit, that.
Hey? See what I mean?
This means
What do you mean? What's that? I've not seen this.
Their little slogan.
Is that their slogan? This
means more to be Liverpool. No, what does it mean more?
It literally means the same.
To rock ambulances and throw piss at people.
Honestly, they've planned it all, haven't they? They've got like the flyers out.
Let's do this for Alan Smith.
Doing it for Smudge. Come on, get the shirts out.
Yeah,
get the shirts out. We're doing it for Smudge.
Are they still we still got some of them for you.
Can we never fucking forget though? Because there's a lot of younger people who watch this who won't have a fucking clue what happened with that. That Alan Smith was taken away injured from a game. What was the injury? He just fully broke his leg.
Broke his leg.
In an ambulance, and that ambulance got attacked by Liverpool fans. That's a true thing that actually fucking happened.
To be fair, they thought it was an ice cream van.
And we should
because of that thick.
Don't forget it.
Oh, sorry.
Let's have him on Sunday. Come on.
Who's doing Fancam Sunday?
Because I'm not.
I remember once when we did that video where we had like all the caution, do not slip signs around Anfield and that, and then something else went off. I think Steve did his famous line on Redmen TV, and then I had to go Anfield and I was doing the team news outside a home pub, and I remember just absolutely thinking, oh my god, this can't go well. I've got the big trident on the mic, and it's just like, oh.
Was you branded up?
Yeah.
I would have thought
I got
that
balls.
brand right
big
off.
Furry balls,
no,
mate.
that is a black mic muff.
I did it.
I'm in for Sky Sports if anyone asks.
You know what? This is pretty controversial. This, and this might be something that people who aren't from Manchester don't really get, right? But it's the unspoken thing that you shouldn't say. But how similar Manchester and Liverpool are as cities, and how similar Manx and Scousers are as people, and how similar Liverpool Football Club and Manchester United are as football clubs.
I don't think we're similar as football clubs.
Why?
I think we have the history, but I think there's a different swagger to United. That's the only way I can describe it. There's a different. I'm not gonna say it means more, but because I don't think you can really value how much it means to another set of fans or whatever, because that's just a load of bollocks. But like, I feel like we're the good-looking one.
I get what you mean. I think there's a bit more class to United than there is to the Scousers, and I get where you're coming from, because I think like there's always been that sort of culturally and economically,
musically, and obviously with the canals and all that.
There's always been that rivalry. That it is deeper than just football. Yeah, exactly. You're taking like money from one area almost is going to another, and there's that rivalry for the same sort of businesses and stuff like that, or same businesses, I should say. There are some similarities, but I think there's a lot of differences. You know, like.
Have I ever told you about how the Beatles are overrated?
Yes, you have, and I don't agree with that.
Why not?
Because he's not just you said they're overrated. It's like with your Pele's thing. You won't say he's overrated. You say he's shit. They're shit.
Pele is overrated.
Don't give you a reason though.
I don't say Beatles are
overrated.
shit.
Why
Well,
are
you and
Beatles
Steve the other
overrated?
week were
Maybe
going
one
about
good tune.
Fuck
What?
off.
Really? By the Beatles?
Yesterday.
See, look how much thinking time
Right.
you needed.
I'm trying to think which one, because there's so many. I don't know where to start.
I'm trying to think of a tune you'll
Hey,
fucking love. How can you listen to Yesterday and say that's not one of the fucking greatest
Yesterday.
songs
Load
ever
of
written?
rubbish.
Fucking Blackbird.
Depressing rubbish.
all I'm
Blackbird's
saying
Hey
a
Jude.
fucking B-side,
All I'm
mate.
saying
Hey.
is they ain't got
Hey Jude.
shit.
Hey
Put
Jude.
together.
Hey Jude.
I'm blue.
Don't
Hey.
Let Me Down. The
Hey
White
Jude.
Album.
Hey Jude.
Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Band. You've not listened to them albums,
Nah.
so how can you fucking judge
I've
them?
heard their tunes.
They invented music.
It's not
Na
enough.
na na na.
Stick 'em at 140.
Aye.
We'll see what we're doing. Nah, just not feel like, you know.
Do you like anyone from that
If
era?
they came out now, everyone would say this is shit. Man.
Absolute fucking nonsense.
Shit.
Fucking nonsense.
They
invented
came out now, you'd be
melodies
like,
and
what the
sounds that
fuck are
people had
these
never
lot on
fucking
about?
heard.
Let's
Are they even Scouts?
Let it
That
be.
is shit.
And are they
Yeah,
even
Yeah,
Scouts?
they have.
They are Scouts.
Are they Scouts?
I've
You
been to
fucking
his
mad.
house.
Every single person that's ever gone through Liverpool mentions the Beatles and how the Scouts.
Listen, yeah, I'm just trying to
Are
take
the
the heat.
Scouts?
I'm just trying to
Oh
take
my
the
God.
heat off Man United.
Hey,
They're
you've got
actually
like
Welsh,
yeah,
yeah.
they're actually Welsh, really.
But
from
right, they have the
From Birmingham
Beatles.
like me.
They have the
Yeah.
Beatles, which is fair enough. But apart from that, Manchester music fucking shits all over Liverpool.
Yeah, you've got like the farm and shit like that.
the fucking blue tones are good. They're all right, but come on,
The Lars.
the Lars.
Yeah,
all right.
it's like cast.
But it's like compare that Joy Division.
Joy
to the
Division,
fucking
Stone
Lars.
Roses.
Happy Mondays.
Yeah, mate,
to
don't-
the fucking cast. You know,
Why the fuck?
the Beatles are the fucking. They're meant to be fair. But
Genuinely
anyway,
overrated.
Manchester music's better than Liverpool music.
Of course it is,
Fact.
easily.
See, when we can't say our football team's better, what we resort to?
The Happy Mondays.
Bez.
Best.
Why have
Fucking
we
around
never
with his
had-
maracas.
Why have we never had Bez on this podcast? Why have we never had Bez on
It's
here?
one way you need to talk.
You are.
No drugs policy.
Rowetta will come on it. Come on, your message.
Yeah,
Oh,
Rowetta.
mate, Rowetta. I love Rowetta.
Yeah,
She's
Rowetta's good stuff,
absolutely
man.
so mental, but I love her. She's amazing.
In a good
We
way.
at the Northwest Football Awards. She's the only one that screams every time she hears the two words Manchester United put together. So it could just be any form of just Manchester United.
No, it's-
It's so good.
No, it's so mad, right? Like I grew up listening to Happy Mondays and stuff like that, and knowing who Rowetta was. I remember when she was on X Factor, and my mum was telling me about her and all that. And like, it was just so, because I've done like one bit of work with her, like half a day, and then the Northwest Football Award, she runs up to me like, Gaz remembers my name, gives me a big hug, and I'm like, you're fucking
didn't remember
Rowetta.
my name.
I'm like, this is mad. And that says a lot for how fucking mint she is.
Do you know I got cut from a Happy Mondays video as a kid? I ended up on the cutting room
He
floor.
told me this.
That's
Wrote full up.
He was off his head.
Racist.
They gave him a load of
Over
LSD.
10. Hey, they filmed it with all these kids in Legend, the club in town. It's shut now. It wrote full up video, and I found it years later on YouTube. I was like, oh my god! I'm
Got
not in
everyone
it.
lined up in front of the TV.
Oh, you're not even. You can't even see your shot.
Nah, there's a kid with glasses who was dancing in front of me. I remember him, and he's in it loads. I can't even play the race card either because Rowetta's
freak.
in the band.
Yeah, but filled the quota for that, though, didn't
So,
we?
yeah. So yeah.
Oh shit. Wally of the weeks. We didn't do this last week.
Well remembered.
We didn't do this last week, and people were devastated, and I didn't realise how much Wally of the Week meant to people. It is an institution.
I don't want to give it him because we've been looking back at his career in almost with fond memories. But
No, you can't
the
give
way
Ash.
Ashley Young's
Oh.
forced his way out of the club.
As
Do
you
you not
know,
think?
is that gospel? I mean,
is-
I don't
it
wanna
has
say
come
Neil
from Neil
Custis
Custis.
has said it, and an Italian DiMaggio or whatever.
I'm just throwing it
I
out
don't know.
there.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And so,
who would you give it to then? I
Wally
always
of the
struggle
week?
to think who my Wally of the week is because I'm such a positive, nice
What's happening
person.
in the world
I
today?
struggle to think who.
This week?
What's Boris's fucking bunga bong for Brexit? Bing bang
Fuck
bong,
Big
Big
Ben,
Ben
man.
bong,
Just
big
get rid of Big Ben and get rid of the royal family while
bong.
we're at it.
Oh
How
fucking hell.
come this is the Wally of the week? The Wallies of the week are all you lot that got so angry over Harry and Meghan Markle. Who the fuck cares about them?
I shout
How
out
can you
that
be
one.
angry at Harry and Meghan and not at Prince Andrew?
but do you know what though? Royalists are just odd anyway.
Yeah,
Like, I
they
used to
are.
cover
You
it
know
in
what
news.
fucking pisses
and
me
they,
off?
they line the streets for like 8 hours before the Queen arrives just to watch her go past in a car.
And the Queen goes past thinking, look at these peasants.
I know, and I'm like,
And she wears gloves when she
and they
meets
bring
them.
like the family. Like, we've been here all night, and I'm like, why?
Can I just
She
say?
treats humans like the European
All
cops. She's
night.
wearing
Wow.
gloves.
Can I
that
just
touch
say?
them.
Can I just say? Right, I find royalists who are really obsessed with them and go to the events really odd. But
Yeah.
equally, I find the people on the other side of the fence who fucking passionately hate them a little bit
Why
odd.
don't-
Unless you're not, if you're not British, I kind of get it.
No,
'cause
why
it's
don't?
like,
Why are
No,
they
see, I
better
don't
than
get
me?
people that are not
They're
British
not.
that have weird obsessions. You know, like a lot of American people
Yeah.
that are,
Indians are like that.
and they collect like the plates and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and they're obsessed with it. And
I
I'm
see-
like,
Some
I-
Indians are like that, and it's weird
Mm.
because in Mumbai, when you go there, they have this thing called Gateway to India, which is like where the British arrived in India, and it's like you're celebrating them coming over here, taking all your resources, and you're like it doesn't like it's bro.
It's that sort of
Let's not do it. I'm gonna get cancelled
I was
again.
gonna say you're gonna get so much
Right,
shit.
it was your Wally of the week. Yours was Ashley Young.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not. It's not.
My
it's
one is
not.
anyone that's
I
got
just
onto
suggested
Prince.
it.
I'm not gonna call him Prince, onto Harry, well, Meghan and her husband, because she actually does something with her life.
so is this just anything? across
Anything,
the board?
anyone. Like it
Oh,
can
it's
be
got to be
anyone.
something to do with Love Island then, because I'm over it. I can't be bothered.
Do you know what? Yeah, I know what you mean. What's his name? Connor, original Connor. He's a bit controlling.
Yeah, he's
He
you,
is,
innit?
man.
He's the guy in you.
He's not. Yeah, he is.
He's
He's
the
Joseph
guy
in you. He's like getting like after one day.
I can't
But
do
also,
this.
the other
What's
thing that
going
winds
on?
me up is that posh guy that left because he was
Ollie.
shooting animals.
Yeah.
Everyone is so wound up about that. Yeah, Anton in summer, there was pictures of him in blackface, and everyone was like, "Ah, now he's great."
That's what I mean.
So
And then that other
Ollie,
last year
you can
get kicked
go.
out for accidentally kicking someone
In the
Yeah.
vagina.
in the vagina. How can you kick someone out for that? Accidental when they play fighting. It wasn't. He didn't half volley her from
But
across
you
the
know
room.
what laugh is like they chucked him out, right? They made no song and dance about it. He was just gone. And then this Ollie, he gave a big
I've
speech.
seen the pictures of
Yeah,
him
he
with
gave a big
animals and
speech,
stuff.
innit? But it was a load of bollocks, right? He said that it wasn't because of animals. He said it was because he's missing his axe.
Right. Well, that you know what?
Get a grip.
I don't
You know what, right? Actually,
Woo!
Yeah, he said he loved someone. I didn't even watch Love Island, but I just saw this. I'm like,
Right.
why would you go
Yeah,
in?
he loves someone. He loves fucking shooting
when
animals.
I
Yeah.
was working in Malia, right, me and Jamie, mate, we went there, right? He just started seeing Tony, this girl. We got there for the summer. A week later, right, he said he was missing his son. He wasn't. Right, he was missing his bird. So he flew back after 1 week, right? By the time I got back 4 months later, he was with someone else.
Quality.
What a fucking muppet.
1
quality.
week.
You know what I mean? I'm missing
Proper
my son.
wet wipes.
No, you're not.
I fucking love an holiday away from my missus. Don't even mean to like mess about or anything like that. I just mean
Wow.
just some fucking time away. You know what I mean?
She loves getting away from you too, guys.
Tell us how you
She
really
can't.
feel.
She can't even listen to BBC radio anymore.
Oh, she fucking
Gaz
does.
is all over it.
I'm everywhere, mate.
Have you not got her on yet?
She's probably
As a
watching.
fan?
She's probably listening to
Hey,
this. Hiya,
this
Soph.
is-
You all right?
This is so from Wivenshaw.
All these anonymous
Oh,
complaints
she ain't
coming
from
in, Gaz.
Wivenshaw. She ain't from Wivenshaw.
Where's she from?
She's from Timperley.
Oh, mate.
Probably got a
Same
posh
thing.
on me, you know.
Yeah.
Why do you think I'm living in my own house?
Gaz is punching, isn't he?
And how can us three say that?
Good point. Well made, Gaz.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna try and fucking perv on both your misses now. I've said that. So
Oh my god.
you're
look
good
away.
at hiding yours, to be fair. Never see you tweeting about her or anything.
She wears a burqa, that's why it's easy to hide her then.
We were doing so well. We almost got to the end.
My Wally of the week is that twat from Love Island who was
Ollie.
shooting the animals, and
Oh,
anyone
oh.
else who has ever gone on one of them fucking trophy hunters, anyone who's ever fucking shot a wild animal, you're
Why
a
can't you
scum
just go and look at
bastard,
them? Why do
and I
you
fucking
shoot
hate you.
them?
Shooting, the only good way to
It's not
shoot an
exactly
animal
like
is
anything
with a
to brag
camera.
about, is it?
Shooting with a
The
camera.
only good way to shoot anything is if it's a chicken and you want to eat it. Right.
Even that's fucking up the world, mate. Watch Apocalypse Cow, it's mad.
No, because then when I want to like I watch Bob's Burgers and I get hungry. Like I can't watch that, and I'll be sitting there like there'll be absolutely doing his cowing, and I'll be hungry.
Nah, it's not that.
Have
Nah,
you seen
it's
that
not
Doomsday Preppers that Houston's on about? I need to watch it.
He's preparing for Doomsday.
It's a show on Netflix where there's a show called Doomsday Preppers
Right.
where they're all preparing for Doomsday, and it's like in America, right? Obviously.
Neckbeards.
Of course
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, and it's real, like, and they're all like building bunkers in the
course
in the
they are.
houses,
Psychopaths.
Next to Area 51.
yeah, like stockpiling food
Course
and
they
all
are,
this
yeah.
shit, right? And there's a guy that set up bombs all around the perimeter of his house, right? So him and his mate test them by shooting them with a rifle to make them explode, just to see that they work. And his mate has got this like proper massive gun and shoots it next to his head and blasts his eardrum.
That's
You
the
need to
alarm
watch it.
of my park.
Why do Americans have such an inflated sense of self-worth?
We've,
Like,
we've
they have
proper
the-
disillusioned most of our fan base today.
No, I'm just right. All right. Well, NFL fans, tell me this: why
I
is
like
it the
NFL
World?
now,
is
by
it,
the way.
it,
I
might,
got
it
on
might
it.
not be NFL. I might be talking about the baseball there. I might have my facts wrong.
It's a
Why is it the
fucking
which
grip.
one's the World Series?
Baseball.
How the fuck do you have a
Baseball.
World Series? It's only in America, you clowns.
Yeah, but they call like the
in
best
Canada probably.
best basketball team in America the world champions. And it's
Yeah, that's what I mean. Stupid.
well, you can't just play sports in America and then call yourself
It's
world.
basically
But
saying
then again, the
America's
world revolves around America, doesn't it?
Muppets. Sorry, not all Americans.
Just
Don't
mostly.
like your president.
Um,
Or half the fucking country that voted for him.
on that note,
On that bombshell.
Wallies of the week were
Mine was Love Island
Love
in
Island,
general.
yeah,
I-
Love
I-
Island.
I'm going with
Anyone who shoots animals.
I'm going with Elizabeth Warren.
Didn't she make watches and stuff?
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is-
There's-
So she does. Makes watches.
She made this shit watch this week, yeah.
Isn't
No,
she?
her and Bernie Sanders had a row after the
Bernie
had a
Sanders.
debate, and it pissed me
I
off because it
fucking
was
love
so
him.
stupid. Because she went over to him and then
Yeah.
started saying, "Why are you accusing me of being a liar?" when the cameras were still rolling, and it's just I can see it playing out into Trump getting another second term.
Oh, Trump's won already.
It's fucking stupid.
Trump's
man.
won, bro.
Stupid.
Why do people think
Why?
the UK and the US are liberal places? They are not.
Why
Look at the history. Do your research. Get your Googles on.
does your shirt spell Colombia wrong?
Don't fucking ask me. It's nice though, isn't it?
That's how you spell Columbia, isn't it?
Nah, Colombia's got an O.
No, the uni.
Columbia.
Is the uni not?
Ohio.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Another American thing. Jesus Christ. On that note, see you later.